Okay, I got the sign. Look, I'm up at Timmins. What's the sign? The other day I was walking and I found something, and I was doing a walk. And then yesterday I felt like, man, put that little thing you found in your pocket. And next time you see Charlie, which is right here, said, I want you to do a talk. You know, I got my motorcycle today. As soon as I pulled up, I see Charlie. It's not a big thing, but we're going to talk a little bit. The other day, Charlie mentioned on the video, he said, you know, sometimes God, in different ways, he kind of confirms his love for us. And Charlie says he'll find marbles. And you know, right after he told me that, I was walking and I found something quite cheap, quite insignificant. But when I found it, then I put it up and said, I'm going to give it to Charlie. Here's a marble, Charlie. And it's just a sign. Sometimes God shows his love by us seeing something. Sometimes it's through another person. And as simple as that was. Now, I'm talking to Charlie for a few minutes, and there are many scriptures. It's windy, so hopefully you're going to hear us. But Charlie's talking about an experience, and I'll have him talk in a second. But then he says, you know, God does stuff. He kind of did something for me, John. He says, not because I'm anything, but because God is my God. Look, there are so many scriptures. In Isaiah, the story of the deliverance of the children of Israel out of Egypt, when God at one point said, I'm going to wipe these people out. And Moses intercedes, and he says, no, don't wipe them out. If you want, wipe my name out. And then Moses uses a particular prayer to God, and he says, all of these other nations, they're going to say, look what their God did. The great God who delivered them from the Red Sea and did all these great things and delivered them from Pharaoh. If you destroy them now, therefore they're going to talk bad about you. Now it's interesting. God knew what he was going to do. That was just a test for Moses, because Moses would be a symbol of the intercessor, of Jesus. Moses makes a quote, says, the Lord your God is going to raise up a prophet someday like unto me, and him you're going to listen to. Peter will use that verse in the book of Acts and says God was talking about Moses, that Jesus would be the fulfillment. So in a way, God allowed Moses to be in a situation where he was making intercession, and he didn't even realize that was a type and a sign of Christ. There are many verses that say, I'm doing this not for your sake. I'm going to show myself strong, not because you're special, even though we are, but because of my sake. God says, there was no strange God among you when I started this work in you. And then if I fail you now, the people are going to say, oh, look, so-and-so said he was a Christian, and now look what happened. So God actually moves on our behalf to defend his name's sake. Now, that was a little quick, brief. Share something, Charlie. There's Junior right there. There's Albert over there.
Thank you for the marble. That's awesome.
Breeze.
That's wonderful. That's
always rest.
You know, it's funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
The thing is, we make mistakes, you know, or we try to make mistakes. Not because we want to make a mistake. It's just that we have a fleshly human side that sometimes wants its own way, and but God intervenes. And I got mad when he intervened twice. I was like, you know, I'm really mad. And he said, I'm doing it because of my name. You are my son, and I will intervene. And then he intervened again in another way. And I said, man, how come you're... And I stopped right there, and it was about 3 in the morning. There was 4 or 5 people in our camp, and there was people outside of the camp. You could hear them, and I began to talk to myself, and I got mad at him, and we were having a conversation, and it went like this. Well, why did you do that? Because I love you. I know that, but I don't want you to love me right now. I want to do my own thing, please.
Yeah.
You know, I can't let you do that. No. I'm just being really honest. And so I started really talking to the people around the camp by the Spirit, and they started laughing. I said, you think it's funny? I said, well, let me put it to you this way. God knows everything. He's not blind to it.
He's still a heathen. Did you know any better?
He knows who knows. He knows who believes in him.
Yeah.
He knows everything, and he's not fooled by anything.
Yeah.
And there's only one way to God, and that is through Jesus Christ. It's the only way. There is no other way. Period.
Thought that.
And when that came out, I heard people laughing in the background. I said, you know, it's not going to be so funny in the end. I really hope and pray that y'all get what I'm saying. It's because, you know, all y'all do is y'all come around and you spy on me and my son, and you peek and you do this and you do that and you laugh. I said, look, y'all stay up longer than I do. You're doing things that are very illegal, because if I did them to your houses, they would throw me in jail for being a peeping Tom.
Yeah. Checking up on people.
I can't even use the restroom because y'all have women over there. And please stop, because if you don't stop, I'm going to come sit in your front porch.
Yeah.
And God said, no, you won't. I will too. And he said, no, you won't. I said, no, I won't. You know, and I'm having a full-fledged conversation with me and 4 other people in my head. You understand, kind of. But anyway.
I do.
You do. And you know what? I love people. Really do love people. And somebody had come to my camp and asked me for help because she'd been hurt. And I said yes. Did I have an ulterior motive? Yes, I did. But God intervened there too. And I'm thanking for it today. But
Amen.
he's a wonderful person. This person is a wonderful person. But the gentleman came to my camp looking for her, and I told him that she wasn't there, and I lied. The next morning when I saw him, I said, dude, I lied to you, and she is at the camp. She is there, and I'm taking care of her, and she is safe, sir. Please don't come over there. But if you do come over there, make sure I'm there. But if you fight or do anything like that, I'm going to intervene on that one.
You know, I had one this morning when I woke up. Sometimes I'll make a video. And I'll tell you, I talk to myself, I talk out loud, and that's just something I do.
Amen.
There might be some, you know, but there was a thought I had today. Now listen to this word.
It's probably going to be what I've just been saying.
Well,
Yeah.
it's something that you might not understand at first. The word that came to my mind was tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa. Now you know what that word means?
No.
This is what it means. Blank slate. You know what Charlie,
It's a clean slate.
something Charlie showed me. He said, look, John, I found a frame. He's making like some pictures and all. He said, and I found a frame. Just came to my mind. A frame or a blank slate means God is saying, I'm going to write my story on you. And we have kind of like, we have Charlie confirmed it too. So what we have in our lives is we're not in control of stuff. And even when we are out of our minds, and sometimes I am disoriented. I noticed the other day when I look at some of my videos that I upload, look, I can't always pick the picture like of which one I want to show on the video. And I have a couple where you see the eyes rolling back in my head. And I look at those and I would think, oh, normally people would remove those thumbnails. I can't on some of them, but I don't care. And so if you see those, I think the struggle in life is really God writing on the blank slate. And sometimes our lives are, and a lot of my friends in the street, look, Charlie's talking about living in the camp, which a lot of my homeless friends have camps, and they're dealing with things that I know a lot of us cannot identify with. Albert is sitting over there, but I'll let Charlie finish.
Now, what I was going to say is, he came to the camp. I told him the truth. He told me some things, and he told me he really did trust me. I said, look, don't blow smoke up my butt, because I know what you're trying to do. Just say it. And he did. I said, thank you. I was ready to tell me the truth. You come at me with any kind of a manipulating lie, because if you do, I'm going to know it.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you'll know if I am too, maybe.
Yeah.
But if you come at me kind of sideways, I'm still going to allow you to be in the tent, but it's probably not going to work out the way that you planned it. But anyway, right when he came in, she was there. She tried to get me to talk about what we had talked about and what I had shared with her about what he had told me. And I said, no. we're not doing that here.
Yeah.
We're not. I'm not gang piling against this gentleman because of what he did or didn't do, or nor you or me or any one of us.
Yeah.
Talk about me. I said, but look, if you got a problem, y'all talking about it. Y'all talk about it. Ask him what he said. Don't ask me, because it's going to end up where I'm just the one trying to help, and you're going to end up blaming this on me, thinking I have done something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow it.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything wrong. I wanted to do some things wrong. God intervened in my heart.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, I did do wrong because I did it in my heart. That's what I was wanting to get at. That's what I was talking to these people about, everybody. When we think that we've got away with something, in our minds we know that we did it in our heart. It's done. We're guilty.
Yeah.
Period. There's no way around it. If you look at a woman and you lust in you and you have sexual intercourse in your mind, you have done it.
Yes.
I'm guilty. I am guilty of it. Okay, so I'm guilty. Did you sleep with her? Yes. Did you? No. Yes, I did. According to him, and I
read, last night, listen to this
it's
now,
hard
Charlie.
to talk that, but I'm telling the truth.
Last night I read
Wow.
Jeremiah chapter 2. Not as thinking I'm going to teach on it, but the first chapter I talked about the other day, the calling of Jeremiah. And you know what it says in chapter 2, and this is kind of a theme in the whole book of the prophet. God says, all of these things that are happening to you, God's judgment on his people in that book, it says, you were, and listen to this verse, I forgot it until I read it last night again. It says, my people, and then Jeremiah uses this image, it's in the chapter. It's like an animal when it's in heat. And when the animal is in heat, mating season, it says there's nothing that's going to stop it.
Yes.
It says, and that's what my people were like. They were going after, they were whoring after all the stuff they wanted to go after. Yet they were his people, but yet they were driven. And it was interesting. It was Jeremiah saying, look, some of the stuff that's happening to the people of God is because of things that they're not recognizing that they kind of are reaping. And even when they recognize it, this is my, I'll add it in. Sometimes they're like, look, I've had friends that were clean for years on various things, and then all of a sudden later on, they're back into the cycle. And I know many of them don't want to be there. And then when they find themselves there, some of them have said, you've heard of it on them telling it to some of them said, you know what, I'm done. It's time for me to walk away from God. They cannot. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
And so they're in a position that they're basically where they're at. Here comes Shrek. So I wanted to share that because I'm doing a little teaching. That Shrek in the back.
I love y'all. God bless you. And y'all pray for us, man. We're having a time. It's a journey of a lifetime, man.
Yeah.
But just like the days of Noah, he said it's going to be just like that. Only 8 people survived that one.
Yes.
Wow.
Noah was preaching righteous. Albert's sleeping over there, and that's Shrek behind me. Say hi, Shrek. Me and Charlie were just doing a little talk. All right. I'm going to shut it off. This is a little update. God bless everyone. Thank you, Charlie.
Hey.